Ember Moon's interview proves my point on Triple H's comments on NXT 2.0, and breaking news has hit as there has been a handful of NXT releases. I guess we got something to talk about. So let's roll that mother effing intro.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really wanna.
It was funny because I was actually going to just come on here and talk about the Ember Moon situation because I had watched it fairly early in the morning, maybe about 4 a.m. ish. And I wanted to talk about it then, but I was like, you know what? Let me just wait because I was dead tired. But regardless of the fact, it's probably perfect that I waited to talk about it now because we just found out that there were other people that had been released from NXT just recently. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into that. So I'm surprised. I was surprised when I saw the names because for those of you who don't know, it's been so far, and I'll pull this up really quick, but the notable names, obviously, Malcolm Bivens, Dakota Kai. Now, along with them, Harlan, Joe Gacy's heavy, Raylan Divine, Mila Milani, which I think those two were at this point, you would probably see them as enhancement talent. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were just getting their feet wet, but they were fresh. Draco Anthony, which is a surprise. He had a good look about him, so I'm not sure. Sanjana George, I'm not sure who that is. I haven't been watching NXT 2.0, so I don't know. Persia Parada, which okay. Dexter Loomis is one of the bigger surprises as well. And Paige Prince of Valley, which I think I remember seeing something about that where there was a whole I don't know if it was a meme about like about the whole page and then this page type of situation. I don't know if she was a wrestler. I think she was. I want to say she was either a correspondent or a ref. I think she was a ref. I mean, I haven't looked on it yet. I literally just found a lot of this out like a little bit ago because I hadn't been checking my phone. I seen them like, oh shit. But so as far and again, I was mad at first. Because I mean, of course, you see me come on here and you see when I talk with the guys, we'll have our banter and I talk shit about Malcolm Bivens. But there he did play his part. He had some good aspects about him. Y'all know it's kayfabe shit that we do, but regardless of the fact, what I did find out is that in the case of Malcolm Bivens and Dakota Kai, they actually had chose not to resign. Now, Malcolm Bivens, I think he was asked and he chose not to resign, and then Dakota Kai, from what I read, I think she stated that she had pretty much seen the writing on the wall, so she just chose not to. The thing with Harlan, they said coaches had stated that he was not progressing in ring as well as they wanted him to. So I think that's the reason why a number of these people had probably been released as well. Where you see the names of Raylan or Rylan Divine, Mila Milani. It could be the same thing with Draco Anthony. I'm not sure. I think I've only seen maybe like 2 of his matches, possibly. Persia Parada, she never did it for me anyway, so I don't know. But Dexter Loomis, though. Dexter Loomis. Clearly, they had nothing for him, but it's no surprise there. I mean, they're getting rid of all the old NXT Black and Gold people, and that seems to be along those same lines as well. And that's what I don't like. But beggars can't be choosers. I can't sit here and just rah for NXT Black and Gold when it's not coming back. Like that's dead, and it's going to stay dead. Now, in terms of these new releases here, it almost doesn't make sense because it seems like this is what they wanted with NXT 2.0. They wanted to have people that they could mold. So if you don't give people time to grow and actually mold into what you want them to be, then it's like, what's the point of this whole deal? Because it's almost like you're contradicting yourself along the way. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get a lot of people invested in certain characters here and there, and it's not going to matter, because if they're not progressing the way you want them to, if you don't give them a chance to just get out there and shine, then all you're going to do is you're going to have a whole lot of inconsistency, which I mean, WWE is full of it as it is, but you're going to have a whole lot of inconsistency that's going to drive more fans away, because it's like, if they can't keep up with all the inconsistencies that's going on, with all these fucking changes going back to back to back to back to back, it's going to be more along the lines of, why the fuck are we watching this when nothing makes sense? How many times have you seen a TV show where it goes off the fucking rails and you just lose sense of everything, and you can't confidently tell somebody, hey, this is what this show is about, this is why I like it? No, it wouldn't be on air that long at all. If in fact, this is an issue, not so much, I mean, for the releases, it happens with WWE, but when you talk about just getting your feet wet in NXT 2.0, especially when you had a vignette for Draco Anthony, you had a vignette for him before he even arrived, and he barely stayed there for a glass of water. So I mean, what do you expect from these people? Do you expect them to come in here with no experience and just pick it up like that? Because I mean, clearly you didn't want any other indie talent that Triple H was bringing in. So you wanted people that you can know. I mean, again, why the fuck is Von Wagner still there? If that's the case, there are a lot of people that could be fucking cut. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, go out and lose your fucking job or cut these people like that. I'm just saying, in terms of, hey, you have XYZ here and you're releasing these people, but there's other people that are in the same fucking boat. If we're just talking about the speculation of, yeah, they're letting these people go because they're not progressing at that same pace. Not everybody is going to pick it up, especially if you're picking up people who's, fresh out of college or were NFL, NBA, Olympic prospects. You're not going to have that professional wrestler. Not everybody's going to be a Kurt Angle or a Mark Henry. And hell, even Mark Henry took time to even acclimate to fucking WWF during that time. So you can't expect to just have these people, push them on TV and just have them get it, especially if this is supposed to be your developmental. It just makes no sense. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get more information on this as far as what else happened. Dakota Kai, I know she's going to be fine. Hell, her and Nixon Newell, aka Tegan Knox, you got Team Kickback. So I mean, hey, maybe they'll go and do some shit on the indies. Hell, maybe Dakota, because I'm pretty sure with all these NXT releases, they all have a 30-day no compete clause. So maybe she'll be in the Owen Hart tournament if that's still going on by the time that shit rolls out. But it's weird. It's very weird. And in the case of Malcolm Bivens, he'll be fine. I mean, he'll fit right in AEW, because I'm pretty sure that's probably where he'll go. If that's the case, I mean, you talk about the way that he is as a mouthpiece and the character that he portrays, he fits perfect. He fits perfectly in AEW. And hell, maybe he'll turn me around, just like to who was 2.0 before then? Everrise. They were Everrise before, and I said fuck Everrise, but I'm a 2.0 bro now. So maybe I'll like Malcolm Bivens when he goes over to AEW, if that's the case. Yeah, it makes, and fucking Dexter Loomis, man. Like, I mean, I should be glad that he's not in that system, because he was basically getting just, I don't want to say buried, but he was getting smothered by this storyline that he had with fuck, I forgot the see again. I know Persia Parada was in the midst of it, but either way, he was not being utilized very well the way that he should have been utilized. So he should have been a champion already as it is. But it sucks, man. But that the reason I'm somewhat flushed about this because it's just I'm just now finding out about it, and it's hard to it's still hard at this point to emote to this situation because WWE has done this repeatedly, so we should be numb to this by now. But I think when it happens, it's just like there's that what the fuck moment before we're able to just be like, you know what, WWE's going to WWE. So I'm not at that point yet because I'm still like, damn, Dakota Kai, like you just really let her go. Like, what's going to happen with this women's division? Like, it's not going anywhere good at the point in time. Now, there's people there are women in this women's division in NXT that I do like, but it's not enough to make me sit here and say, you know what, women's wrestling for NXT, because NXT was the premier spot for women's wrestling at a point in time, and now it's just it's almost lower than what WWE main roster has going on. So it's like, for real, like what the fuck? But since we are talking about the women's division, it's a perfect segue because Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, had her interview with Chris Van Vliet. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet, man. He's always doing fantastic interviews, and I love his interview style, and two, I just him as a person, awesome. But I haven't seen the whole interview. I watched the main, I think it was like a 13-minute clip about her talking about her final days in NXT. That's the one thing that stood out to me the most. And I'm gonna go back and watch the full interview because it deserves it. But on the last Dizzle moment, I talked about how much bullshit that the Triple H comments were. And she said a few things that shed a lot of light to kind of back up what I said. And part of that is from when she was pretty much in creative limbo after Shotzi got pulled to the main roster. And she basically said that creative had nothing for her. And she went to Hunter and asked him about what was going on. And his words to her, his response was, I don't know what's going on. See, that's the thing. Something so minuscule as, and that's not to say Ember Moon's character is minuscule, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, something so minuscule as somebody having creative issues and not sure where they're going to go, you have no idea because you don't know what main roster is doing yet. You're supposed to know about this whole rebrand of NXT 2.0. This was all a part of the plan. Now, in that interview that she had, there was no mention of NXT 2.0 as far as what they were going to do. Now, there was a mention about the women's division in NXT, about being more sexy, about making sure that everybody hit a certain sexual peak in presentation, i.e. Mandy Rose, i.e. Toxic Attraction. So basically, to deviate away from what NXT was doing for the women, what spawned the whole women's evolution in WWE side of professional wrestling, the whole thing that Stephanie McMahon was touting about that whole time has now regressed into WWF Attitude Era divas realm. Because now it's all about puppies. And granted, we come on here on Tag and we'll sit here and we'll have our fun banter and we'll pine over, the whole thing with Cheeks Dolan and all this other shit. We'll say, and so though, and all this and this though. Regardless of the fact, we appreciate women's wrestling. And a lot of people that watch professional wrestling appreciate women's wrestling, especially when it's fucking good. But when you take something that once was good and you start to make it some showy bullshit for old men with Viagra hard-ons, It doesn't do any justice. It doesn't help the women progress into where they should be. Because how can you sit here and say, hey, I'm the best at this, I'm the best at this? If you're in a shit promotion, all you are is the best person in a shit promotion. And that's that. The titles won't mean shit. Every fucking woman's title that's in there will basically have the same fucking reputation as the butterfly belt, the Divas Championship from a few years ago. It'll have that reputation. The whole women's division will have that reputation. So everything that Triple H did during the whole black and gold era of NXT, where he was elevating women's wrestling, where everything was making sense, everything that spawned the WWE Women's Evolution pay-per-view, all of that will be for naught. So that means all that touting, all that sit here and praising yourselves on the first women's this and the first women's that and women's wrestling, it won't mean shit if all you do is take everything that was done then and completely undo it. And I feel bad. I feel horrible for Athena because of what she basically went through, because she sat there and for her to sit here and get emotional on that interview with Chris Van Vliet, and to sit there and ask what she did wrong, and for them to say nothing, but yet you want her to be off TV indefinitely. You want her to be a coach to coach other people. Was it because she didn't want to fall in line and do the whole sexy thing? When she basically responded to that with the way that you would technically respond to as a publicly traded company, the same reason all of you went PG to begin with. She said she's on a show promoting herself to kids. Logical. The shit makes sense. She understood her place. She understands that everybody's not going to be a sexual object. Everybody's not going to be looked at as sexual in nature like that. That's not to say that these women aren't beautiful, but she understands that that's not her lane. She doesn't want to do that. She may not feel comfortable, and that should be fine. That should be more than enough. But for you to have a meeting solely on this aspect to say, hey, guess what? All you women have to go be sexy. Wear your fishnets, wear your booty shorts, show assets, show more skin, get more cleavage out there. That's what we're running with. But yet you can sit there and you can get mad at AEW for saying that they got all blood and guts and all this other shit. But you have no problem with over sexualizing women, even if they do not want to be overly sexualized. That's an issue. That's a big fucking issue. Now, of course, yeah, I'm a man. I have no problem looking at that on TV. Perfectly fine in my book. But what's not okay is to force somebody to have to dress like that, to have to portray that. That's not their fucking character if they don't want to do that. What you're gonna have Piper Niven, Dewdrop, you're gonna have her out there doing that too? Oh no, or is she just not the right body type for that? Is she the next to be cut because she can't or won't do that? Just asking. Back to what I was saying though. This confirms at least a portion of what I was saying. That everything Triple H said in terms of this was always part of the plan as far as NXT 2.0, complete bullshit. Complete fucking bullshit. I don't believe it, and I didn't believe it, and I wasn't going to. And the fact that this was going on behind the scenes makes me even more skeptical about his words in that regard. So, Cody, I hope they gave you one hell of a fucking deal, because I don't understand. I mean, I can understand why you went back, but for a company that has certain views like this in that regard, it just seems like it's going the way of a sinking ship. It seems like it's WWE's the Titanic and their creative is that fucking glacier, because it seems like it's bound for an inevitable downturn. And I mean, granted, look, most people that are in this community want WWE to be better. It's not like we just want WWE to die, but they are doing a lot of things that's just self-inflicted wounds, and they're gonna watch themselves bleed out. And I hate that. I hate that. I hate to watch a company that I grew up watching, a company that got me into professional wrestling, just devolve into this. Like it's fucking ridiculous. And it's not fair to the people who had dreams of going to this company and winning an intercontinental title, winning a tag team title, winning the world championship, main eventing WrestleMania, just having a match on WrestleMania, you know, being a top tier professional wrestler in the women's division. You know, it sucks. It sucks that this place that everybody glorified, what used to be the show of all shows, the company of all companies, the big dance, is now just a shell, less than a shell of its former self. I don't know how to call it, man. I can't. It's ridiculous. But look, you see everything on the crawl, man. Whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hit the notification bell for everything that we drop here. Most importantly, hit that tag, that motherfucking subscribe button. But yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks. A lot of shit sucks, and I just hope that it's better. But until next time, you beautiful, beautiful mother effers. Tag the fucketh. Out.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane to make them same mistakes again. So I'm switching lanes.